Welcome to part 2 of our series on AMR. Before we continue, let's quickly recap how bacteria become antibiotic resistant.
In part 1, we learned that bacteria can resist antibiotics through several mechanisms. These are destroying the drug, modifying the target, reducing drug entry, pumping antibiotics out through efflux pumps, or bypassing blocked metabolic pathways. We also discovered that bacteria can protect themselves by forming biofilms. Biofilms are complex communities enclosed within a protective matrix that limits antibiotic penetration. Resistance doesn't spread only through mutation. Bacteria can also exchange resistance genes by conjugation, transformation, and transduction, allowing antimicrobial resistance to spread rapidly. But what happens when bacteria acquire resistance to several different antibiotics? These organisms are called multi-drug resistant, or MDR organisms. They are among the greatest challenges in modern medicine. Let's explore them.
Let's take a closer look at the 4 most important multi-drug resistant organisms that every microbiology student and healthcare professional should know.
The first is MRSA, or Methicillin-Resistant Staphylococcus aureus. This bacterium has become resistant to methicillin and many other beta-lactam antibiotics.
The second is VRE, which stands for Vancomycin-Resistant Enterococci. These bacteria commonly cause urinary tract infections.
The third group includes ESBL-producing bacteria. ESBL stands for extended-spectrum beta-lactamases, enzymes that destroy many beta-lactam antibiotics.
The fourth organism is PRSP, or Penicillin-Resistant Streptococcus pneumonia. It is an important cause of pneumonia. Although these organisms differ in the antibiotics they resist, they share one important characteristic. They are difficult to treat and are.
Why are multi-drug resistant organisms such a major concern? The answer lies in their enormous impact on patients, hospitals, and global healthcare. Multi-drug resistant infections are much more difficult to treat. Routine antibiotics may no longer work, forcing doctors to use stronger, more expensive, and sometimes more toxic medicines. These infections also place a heavy burden on healthcare systems. Patients stay in hospitals longer, require intensive care, additional laboratory investigations, and significantly increase healthcare costs.
Recognizing this growing crisis, the World Health Organization has identified antimicrobial resistance as one of the top global public health threats. Can we slow the spread of antimicrobial resistance? Fortunately, yes. One important strategy is the rational use of combination antibiotic therapy.
When a single antibiotic is not enough, doctors may prescribe 2 or more antibiotics together. This approach is known as combination therapy. By attacking bacteria through different mechanisms, combination therapy can improve treatment outcomes and reduce the chances of treatment failure. Combination therapy is especially valuable in life-threatening infections, where immediate broad-spectrum treatment is essential before laboratory results are available. It is also useful in mixed infections, where more than one bacterial species is causing disease. Using 2 antibiotics together can reduce the chance that resistant bacteria survive and multiply. Sometimes, 2 antibiotics work better together than either drug alone. This enhanced effect is called synergy. Combination therapy may also allow lower doses of individual antibiotics, helping reduce drug toxicity while maintaining effective treatment. Although combination therapy has many advantages, not every antibiotic combination is beneficial. Some combinations enhance each other's action, while others have little effect, or may even interfere with treatment. Let's understand these interactions next.
Not all antibiotic combinations behave the same way. When 2 antibiotics are used together, they may enhance each other's effect,
Have no additional benefit, or even interfere with one another.
In synergy, the combined effect of 2 antibiotics is greater than the sum of their individual effects. Together, they eliminate bacteria much more effectively.
The combination of penicillin and gentamicin is a very common example.
In difference, combining 2 antibiotics offers no significant advantage. The combination works about as well as the more effective drug used alone.
In antagonism, one antibiotic interferes with the action of another, making the combination less effective than using the better antibiotic alone.
The example of antagonism is penicillin plus tetracycline taken together.
Let's summarize these three interactions. Synergy improves bacterial killing, indifference provides no extra benefit, while antagonism reduces treatment effectiveness.
Choosing the right antibiotic combination is therefore essential. Understanding these interactions helps clinicians maximize treatment success while minimizing the risk of resistance and treatment failure.
Although antimicrobial resistance is a growing global challenge, there are several effective strategies that can slow its spread and preserve the effectiveness of antibiotics.
The first and most important strategy is using antibiotics only when necessary, selecting the right drug, the correct dose, and the option. Scientists continue to discover and develop new antibiotics capable of targeting resistant bacteria. However, the automation sequence is performing flawlessly. Look at the efficiency of the screen.
We are gathering data 10 times faster than before. 3. Another important strategy is combining antibiotics with lactamase inhibitors. These inhibitors block bacterial enzymes that normally destroy beta-lactam antibiotics, allowing the antibiotic to remain effective.
An exciting alternative approach is phage therapy.
Bacteriophages are viruses that specifically infect and destroy bacteria, offering a potential solution for multi-drug resistant infections.
By combining responsible antibiotic use, continued research, innovative therapies, and global cooperation, we can slow the spread of antimicrobial resistance and protect these life-saving medicines for future generations.
Yet, despite these advances, antimicrobial resistance continues to spread across the world.
This has inspired scientists to ask a completely different question.
What if, instead of killing bacteria, we simply prevented them from causing disease?
This revolutionary strategy is called anti-quorum sensing.
In Part 3, we'll explore the fascinating world of quorum sensing, the language bacteria use to communicate, coordinate, and launch infections. You'll discover how scientists are developing anti-quorum sensing therapies that block these communication signals, preventing bacteria from coordinating their attack.
We'll also explore promising natural anti-quorum sensing compounds from medicinal plants and rare actinobacteria that could help disarm pathogens without promoting resistance.
If you're curious about the future of antimicrobial therapy, don't miss Part 3.